So, ladies and gentlemen, I have a very, very special treat today.
Ooh.
I've
never been called a treat.
Snack treat. You've been called a snack, I'm sure.
I've been called a snack by a few cougars in Scottsdale.
Especially when you're wearing those shoes.
They do. The ladies do love them.
So he's the former CMO of Cardone Ventures. He's led global teams responsible for driving innovation for brands like Google, Starbucks, and Nike. Not only has he worked with some of the biggest brands in the world, but he's also worked with some of the most successful entrepreneurs in the world. Buck, it's amazing to have you, man.
Thank you, bro.
So much for coming on the show.
I appreciate the invite.
Yeah.
Very nice to be here. Nice to see the team. We're actually in your office right now. So we just took a quick tour. Man, the numbers are hitting the dashboard. You're seeing the success. That's a good energy in here.
We're growing. Yeah.
I love it, man.
Very vibey in here.
It's nice.
You know what's actually crazy is before I moved in here, we were kind of like in a financial little bind. Like back in November, we had to like refund a bunch of people because of our contracts.
Wow.
All those contracts are phased out. I'll tell you the story later. It's a pretty amazing story.
Okay.
But I was nervous to move in here, and then within the first 3 days, it like completely changed the culture in here. Within the first 3 days, we paid off this office for the whole year.
Wow.
For 3 days of sales.
Yeah, you gave yourself a reason to work harder.
Right. And people love working here.
Yeah, you went all in.
Yeah.
I like it.
All in.
Nice.
And it's actually funny how you and I met. Let's talk about that for a second.
Yeah, sure.
We met through my good friend Dylan Kivo.
Dylan's awesome.
Yeah, he's awesome, man. He's such a good, genuine person. He's just one of the best humans I've ever met.
Yeah.
But funny story. So we go over to Buck's rooftop, and I was like, this guy is literally an efficiency machine. Like it was. I thought it was so badass that you're just like, yeah, you can come hang out with me, but like I'm still gonna like get my shit done. And like all of a sudden, next thing I know, Buck is in the cold plunge.
That's right, 42 degrees.
Yeah,
all the way to the neck.
Right. And Dylan joins him, and
Dylan's man, he's got balls. You know, he was like, no swimsuit. I'm just gonna go in my underwear.
Right.
Drop in. I got the video. In fact, if for YouTube, I'll send you the video so you can actually place it right here. You can.
Oh yeah, that would be a great cut.
Right into it.
That'd be a great cut. So he goes in the cold plunge, and we're talking, and Dylan was like, I really want to introduce you to Buck because Buck seems like he really knows your industry, and I think it's important for you guys to meet. So then you go to the sauna, and guys, listen, being around a guy like Buck and knowing where he's been and who he's worked with. For me, I'm the type of guy who wants to soak up every single word that he says. So Buck had me in the sauna. I'm fully clothed,
sweating,
fully clothed, and my buddy Zach was there too. And me and Zach are looking at each other like, who the hell's gonna walk out first? It's not gonna be me.
Oh, you guys were sweating, man.
We were sweating. I'm fully clothed in the sauna.
That was fun though.
Yeah, it was awesome.
You know what it was though? It was an experience that you'll never forget.
I won't forget that. No. I'm like literally fully clothed, trying to like stay into the conversation for like a good 10 minutes.
Yeah.
Trying to soak up all I can, just sweating through my pants.
Well, you're hungry. You're hungry, man.
Right.
You're hungry. That's awesome.
So, I want our viewers to kind of know, obviously you worked for Grant Cardone and Brandon Dawson.
Sure.
Who are like two guys that
machines, man.
Just unbelievable entrepreneurs.
Changed my life.
Right.
Yeah. 20 years of working for the world's biggest brands can't prepare you for 3 years with Grant and Brandon.
That's what you were saying.
Completely different. Yeah. Just completely different. There's sort of like this weird echelon. There's the corporate world where you're spending millions of dollars in marketing.
Right.
And you got really big teams, and think of it as like a big ship moving really slowly in a port. But then you think of like Grant Cardone and you think of Brandon Dawson, and they're building, they're big ships, but they're moving really fast, like a speedboat.
Right.
And so it was kind of a cultural shift for me where I was used to working on, like, take, for example, I worked for 6 months on pumpkin spice latte at Starbucks.
Wow. You're the guy behind that, huh?
Well, to try to figure out who the exact persona of a pumpkin spice latte is. Right. So they'll spend $500,000, $1 million for 6 months to do research.
Right.
And Grant's like, go today, like end of day, put it up, launch it. He also knows his audience so well. He's been doing this for so long. And, there is a difference between a corporate brand and a personal brand. Grant Cardone is a personal brand.
Right.
He knows himself. He knows his brand. He knows his audience really well. He doesn't need 6 months of research.
Right.
But you got all these micro products inside of Starbucks. So you're doing a lot of corporate research on who drinks this and who are the competitors. And, they're just different. One is not better than the other. They're just different.
Right.
But personally, I gained more out of the 3 years working for Grant and Brandon than I did for 20 years of corporate, marketing.
Yeah. And now, now that you're no longer with them, you're probably well better prepared.
Oh, there's no doubt.
Yeah.
There's no question.
And you took kind of the opposite route as everybody else. Most people will work at an agency and then start their own agency. You actually had a successful agency before that, right?
Yeah, I started at an agency. It's a good observation. Yeah, I kind of built my career backwards, actually. If you think about where I started in TV and radio on the mic on this little SM7B.
That's why I sound so good.
Yeah, well, they say I have a face for radio, actually.
Face and voice.
They used to say I have a face for radio. But I had, I was used to creating audiences. I was used to creating content, driving call to actions, developing emotions in people, because I had a radio show when I was 17. I moved to Los Angeles. I worked with Ryan Seacrest for 2 years.
Right.
We had a show at Star in Los Angeles, and then I did mornings in Detroit. And I was really honing the craft of like, how do you create in a way that connects and builds a community that's authentic, that loves you, that can drive an actual action. But a lot of that, when you think of that, that's the fun part. That's the part everybody wants to do, the part that everybody thinks about when they think about marketing. And so what I was missing was the strategy side. Because before creativity, before you come up with that TV commercial, before you come up with that podcast idea, before you come up with, Facebook paid ads or T-shirt design or door hangers, no matter what kind of marketing you're doing, you have to have a strategy in place first. And so it was in that moment when I was creating digital strategies for TV and radio that a client came to me, the Detroit Tigers.
Okay.
They came to me and they said, we need somebody that does what you do. And I went to my boss at CBS and I said, hey, would you mind if I help the Detroit Tigers with their digital strategy? I had no inclination whatsoever that I was going to start an agency. I had no dreams of starting a digital agency. I loved what I did. I was passionate about it, and the Tigers needed it. So I went in and started working with them.
The okay.
Yeah, they gave me the okay.
Cool.
And I started working. I'll never forget it. Debbie Kenyon was the woman's name who was the market manager of CBS in Detroit. I think she's still there today. But, it was that it's so crazy when you think about that one question to that one person changed the trajectory of my life. And she let me kind of work out of CBS, and I'd bring more clients in. North American International Auto Show. I brought in Valvoline Oil, Chevy Racing Team. I brought all these clients into CBS, which was like, gave me leverage and clout, because it's like, here's this guy, has a morning show. He's known across the Midwest. He's in this CBS corporate office. So I'd start bringing clients in talking about the digital space. And that's when I learned strategy, that like, okay, it's not all creativity. That's also when I learned everyone's a salesperson. And even if you think you're a talent, even if you think you're a writer, you're a designer, no, everyone is a salesperson.
It's a foundational skill set.
Yeah. Once you figure that out, life changes. And so I was young. I was in my early 20s when I realized, okay, I'm not just like a creative. I'm not just a talent. Like, you got to be able to motivate, inspire, and sell
100%.
Anything you do, anytime you do it. And so that was sort of the shift into strategy. But then it wasn't until I started working with big companies that I learned the data piece. And so when you think about it, my career was built backwards, because the way that you build a strategy or a campaign is data informs strategy. Strategy informs the creative. The data tells us who you need to target. That's why you created the strategy and who you're going to be interviewing and talking to on this podcast, so that you could then reach that target audience.
I was talking about that with my COO, Joe, the other day. I said, the bigger we grow, the less I rely on my gut and the more I rely on data.
And that's exactly how every business starts. You're passionate about an idea. You're good at something. You figured something out. Maybe you don't have the big vision yet, but you've got something tangible. And you use a lot of gut to get to your first $1 million. But then once you hit $1 million, if you don't have data, you're never going to go. You'll never scale.
And I think that's exactly what we're working on right now. We were talking about that before this.
Yeah, you're in that break point.
I'm in that break point. And that's the other thing that you were talking about, break points, and knowing when the break points are. Like, I was like, man, this guy is literally like just telling me everything I need. And he's not even talking
to me. Probably telling
you
you things you already know, because you're feeling the pain of operations and automation and scale.
It was speaking to me.
Yeah.
And we're really, really good at automation. I would say that's like our are super talented, and we might think we're good. There's a whole nother level that we could tap into.
You never stop. I think most business owners, if you're a business owner or entrepreneur right now and you're listening or watching this, the biggest issue everybody thinks is, I just need to get this one thing done and then it hits me to the next level. You never hit the next level. If you think that you're done with your automation, then you failed.
Every solution to a problem causes more problems.
That's exactly. You want, and what do you want? You want
to be able to pick and choose which problems you deal with.
Well, you
right?
want bigger ones.
Bigger ones.
You want bigger ones. If you think your problem right now, the thing that's dragging you down, keeping you up at night, you want a bigger problem than that.
Right.
You always, and that's the stuff that Grant and Brandon really instilled in me. Just like, you don't have problems, man. You don't know problems yet. Like, you need 50. Do you know when Trump was elected, he had over 100 lawsuits active.
Right.
That's what kind of problem. Imagine you get sued one time. Somebody's suing me.
Right.
You need 100 of those.
Right.
You need 100 lawsuits to know you're doing something.
Right.
You know? So it's like, when you put it in perspective like that, we're not doing anything.
Right.
I mean, I don't really want a lawsuit, but I don't have any right now. So I'm
like,
clearly,
that's how you know you're doing something right.
I'm not doing it.
Sued,
yeah.
right?
I'm not there. We had a conversation right before this podcast where you were like, you've done so much. And I'm like, dude, I haven't done anything yet.
Right.
Like we are just getting started.
Right. And you talk about legacy, all the stuff that you've done, right? How do you feel? Because a lot of your accomplishments, right? Not all of them, but some of them are under the Cardone Venture flag, right?
Yeah.
So do you look at those like, yeah, these are my accomplishments, or do you look at it like these are Grant's accomplishments? Because for me, I have like when I've worked under people, right, and I've done these things, it's like, well, it's not my accomplishment, it's their accomplishment because it's their business.
Well, it's
right?
a team. It's a team effort. It's I started the business management side for Grant's business, which is Cardone Ventures.
It's a huge part of it.
With Brandon Dawson, there were 3 employees when I started.
Wow,
that was it. When I left 3 years in, there were 82 employees, and we were doing 42 million.
Yeah.
In less than 3 years. So it's a team effort. I mean, could I have done 42 million and 82 employees on my own? Absolutely not. Like, I had to have somebody's wisdom to help build that from absolute scratch. I had an agency. Right. I sold that agency. I didn't sell it for $1 million. It wasn't $1 million. I didn't know how to go to $1 million on my first agency when I was a kid. I needed somebody to show me, because what's interesting is I understand it. They call it law of the lid. I understand.
I was going to talk about
it's a Maxwell
that's where
law,
I'm at.
Right. I understood how high you can go from a brand standpoint, from a corporate standpoint, because I've worked in $1 million brands, but I didn't build those brands from scratch. It's harder to get to 0 to 1 than when you go work for a brand that's already at 10,
100%.
trying to get to 20.
100%. I tell people all the time, like, what was the hardest part? I'm like, 0 to 10.
0 to 10.
0 to 10K a month was the hardest part.
Yeah.
And then like 10K to 50K was kind of easy.
Yeah.
50 to 100 was easy, But, for my followers out there, and most of them are agency owners, I always tell them the same thing. Whatever you did to get to 100K a month is not the same thing that you need to do to get to 200K a month.
And you need different people to do it too.
Right. In a lot of cases, you need different people. I think for my agency, one of the bottlenecks that we have is me. When you're just starting a company, right? You want to hire work for cheap.
Right.
So, but the problem is when you're the smartest guy, or I don't want to say smartest, but most knowledgeable guy in the room.
Sure.
You are your own bottleneck.
Yeah.
Right. And that was happening with me. So, now, we're going to look at raising funds to get some of the best talent possible.
Yeah.
Because what we're doing right now are people, the people like my COO, for example, and it's there's pros and cons. So my COO, he was a physical therapy assistant before this. He started out doing Instagram DMs for me. I paid him $300 a month.
Wow.
I gave him a course. I said, take this, run with it. And if you learn enough, I'll give you a promotion. Now he's the COO of a multi-million-dollar company.
It's crazy.
And all of these people, like Hussein, he's our best sales guy. He was doing HVAC, no sales experience.
Yeah.
This guy's selling $40,000 a month packages now.
Dude, that's awesome.
Yeah.
Congratulations.
Thank you. And it's all homegrown, which we're very proud of. But now we've come to a point where it's like, we need that corporate talent.
Yeah.
Right? Because a lot of our people haven't even had entry-level jobs. Right?
What is the biggest pain point?
Which is why they love working here.
What's the biggest pain point right now for you guys?
The biggest pain point right now for us, I would say, is, I don't even want to say it's a pain point because it's by design, but our net margins, right, are like, for example, last month they were slim. And the reason for that is because I am always reinvesting into infrastructure, right? I'm like, and by the way, Buck, I don't take a salary for my own company.
Yeah.
I don't take a salary.
Yeah.
I pay everybody else. I do not take a salary personally for my own business because I'd rather reinvest that into the infrastructure.
Sure.
That's how like bought in company first I am.
Yeah.
And, we're constantly I've spent, I think last month I spent about 40 grand in consulting.
Nice.
And, now the beauty of this is, before this, I owned an IT recruiting company.
Yeah.
So I know how to hire talent.
Nice.
I know how to identify them. I know how to interview them. I just have not had the capital to acquire that talent.
Got it.
Because we're reinvesting into the infrastructure and in the systems, and it's taken a priority over that.
Is the flow, meaning the new business, the business development side of the business, is it coming in so fast you can't chew on it?
No.
So you could increase the flow.
100%.
Yeah.
And especially with that thing I just showed you, like our capacity just tripled.
Yeah. Easily
with that. Right now, I would say actually our biggest pain point so far has been the inconsistency of client acquisition.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. When we were at $100K a month, I was getting $40 demos. $40 demos.
Wow.
We scaled to $500,000 a month in like 2 months. Then all of a sudden, Facebook ad shuts our account down, and now we're getting $200, $300 demos, right? But now what we've done now is instead of doing it in-house, do you know who Alex Hormozy is?
I know the name.
So Alex Hormozy, he's kind of like in my ecosystem of agencies buy courses.
Yeah.
Meaning like, you started a marketing agency because of a course. That's how you learned it.
Right.
Hormozy is like kind of like the pinnacle for us, right? He had a huge exit. And he highly recommends this guy who actually was on this podcast the other week, and his name is Ashton Shanks.
Okay.
Every time Alex acquires a new business,
Yeah.
he has Ashton scale out the client acquisition.
Nice.
So I met with Ashton, had him on our podcast, took him out to Scottsdale. We became great friends. Now
That's awesome.
he's going to be doing our client acquisition.
Oh, that's great.
We have the best of the best. I mean, he was a CMO of Traffic and Funnels. They were doing $4 or $5 million a month in revenue, right?
That's awesome.
So being able to network and get these people is a huge part of it. And we have a really good foundation, but now I think it's just about acquiring playbooks.
Yeah.
It's all about acquiring playbooks for us. I don't want a guy who's really, I'd rather take a guy who like there's a guy who's really talented over here. He's got everything that, he checks all the boxes.
Sure.
But this guy has actually worked at a company that is a mortgage marketing company or a real estate marketing company.
Yeah.
And he has the playbook.
Makes sense.
We're going with the playbook every time.
What kind of talent do you need most right now?
So there's a lot of positions we could fill.
Yeah. What's the most important? Which one's going to drive the biggest impact on
I think a chief of staff. I don't know if have you heard of that position before?
Yeah, of course. Operations.
I'm new to this
basically.
position, right?
Yeah.
But a chief of staff would really do that. For me, I think I've done a good job of delegating, and there's not much for me to do.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
However, I do have to make 3 to 4 decisions a day
Yeah.
off of, let's say, a disgruntled client. Like,
Sure.
hey, how much do we refund them?
Sure.
And I really wish I didn't have to, because I feel like my time could be spent doing other things,
Right.
Like networking with you,
Yeah, of course.
or going out and raising money, right?
Don't you have a COO?
I do have a COO.
They can't hybrid that role together right now?
And he does a lot.
Yeah.
He does. He's
Yeah.
like, honestly, he's a hybrid COO, CTO, CFO.
Yeah, we're going to dissect. Guys, give us a minute. We're going to dissect this right now.
I love it.
Okay, so you have a COO.
Right.
Are you public about your revenue? Do you talk about how much you guys make?
People know how much gross revenue we do. Yeah.
What's gross? What are you guys doing?
So it'll go up and down, but usually it's between 400,000 and 500,000.
Okay.
Per month, right?
month, yeah.
Depending on failed payments,
Yeah.
chargebacks.
Yeah. So
all that
you
stuff.
guys will do $6 million this year?
I think we'll do more. I think as soon as we get Ashton locked in, here's the crazy part, Buck, about the potential. Okay, our problem has been the amount of demos that we get. I got a sales guy that closes 50%. I got other guys that close 30%.
Right.
25%.
What's the difference?
What's the difference between him and them?
Yeah.
I don't know, but I just made him a sales manager. So because I want him to clone
We got
himself.
a template. We got to blueprint him.
Exactly. That's exactly right. And
Yeah.
that's what we started doing. And he's, obviously if I could have even 2 more of him, we would easily scale to multiple millions per month.
Easily.
And, like I said, the lack of demos has been the problem, not the conversions.
What's retention look like?
So we're building out a cohort analysis right now.
Okay.
But I mean, our contracts are 3 months.
Yep.
They're non-refundable.
Okay.
And this is what I was getting before. You know what my offer used to be? And this is going to show you how much the market needs this, Buck.
Yeah.
Our original offer was 90 appointments over 90 days.
That's right.
With a money back guarantee, meaning we will reimburse you for every single appointment that we missed.
And so the 90 appointments is they showed up.
Not 90 set appointments, 90 showed appointments.
Yeah.
Okay, so that's a lot of work on our end, right?
It's a good promise.
Yeah, it's a great promise. The only problem is that the offer was so good that we sold so many people and we did not have enough. We couldn't fulfill.
Yeah.
I ended up having a refund over $368,000.
That's what you're talking about in November.
Right.
Yeah.
So what we did was we completely phased out the contract. We went, all right, we're just going to make this non-refundable and see what happens.
What's the new structure?
The new structure right now. And by the way, at the time we were charging $3,500 a month.
Yeah.
Now we charge $7,000 a month.
Yep.
Seven to four, depending on what package you get.
Okay.
And it's 60 appointments over the course of 90 days.
Okay.
People aren't buying any less.
Wow.
Conversions are staying the same.
That's awesome.
I'm willing to bet if we increase the price again and lowered the offer, wouldn't make a difference.
What's the average conversion on that price point?
The average conversion on the price point, I think all around the board is like 25 to 30%.
It's not bad.
Yeah.
And these are all lenders?
These are all lenders.
Wow.
Brokers and loan officers.
Boy, that's amazing.
Right. And we've worked with some bigger companies who really like we've been approached by one company. I don't want to mention their name. I'll tell you off air.
I work with a lot of big brokers and lenders, man.
They wanted to buy us.
Yeah.
They're like, how much?
They should. They'd be dumb not to.
Right. But for us, would it be smart to sell to a broker because maybe they value us less because for them the revenue doesn't matter.
Depends.
They're just using the
it depends
leads,
on
right?
what the evaluation, what the common evaluation is between you.
Right.
You know?
Right.
Depends on how big the vision is of how big this could get if you've done the math. And it depends on if they are buying the future or buying today.
Right.
That's the question.
Yeah. And then, I've talked to a couple of investment bankers and some of them are like, yeah, we'll do it off a trailing 12 months. And others are like, dude, with your growth rate, we got to do this off the next 12 months. So it really depends on the investment banker who you're talking to. And like,
right.
In a dream scenario for us, we'd like to get acquired by a company like Zillow or Redfin because not only can they profit off of the revenue, but a lot of our customers come from them anyway.
Of course.
So they're getting rid of a competitor. And in reality, I think, and I've done because I follow all my competitors on Instagram.
As you should.
As I should. And I see all of their...
That's real data.
Yeah, I see all of their ClickFunnels awards and we got that stuff too. But, I read their captions and they're like, oh, we've been doing this for 3 years and we finally hit $1 million a year. I think it goes tier 1 companies, Zillow, LendingTree, Realtor.com, Redfin. Tier 2 is Linkcrest. Tier 3 is everybody else. All of our competitors, like... I don't even want to mention their names, but they're just doing less in revenue.
Yeah.
Like, because they're open about the revenue that they do. Marketers are just like, hey, these are our numbers, right? So I know their numbers.
Yeah.
They're doing less than us.
Yeah.
We're in kind of like a category of our own. And I don't like to position us as lead gen. I like to position us as connectors. Like we don't sell leads, we sell appointments, man. Big difference.
Right. Well, congratulations, man.
Thank you.
What would you say the number one reason anybody that would want to join your corporation? What's the thing that makes them want to be here right now?
Want to be here?
Yeah. What's the big reason?
Everybody. So here's the difference between myself and everybody else. When most people are planning to exit or sell their company, it's a secret. With me, everybody has known since the beginning. This is what we're doing.
Lots of transparency.
Everybody knows the MRR. We have a meeting
It's amazing.
And everybody's on the same page. Like, you'll see at some point, I don't know it depends on how long you're here, but at some point people will get up and start like people love working here. It's rewarding. I get text messages from my managers.
Wow.
Like, man, this is an amazing opportunity. Everybody's really, really thankful for and grateful for the opportunity.
Dude, that's
great.
great.
They're grateful to work here. It's a great place to work.
Very cool. Well, congrats. It's a big deal.
Thank you, dude.
Yeah.
Thank you. Well, hopefully we can work something out later on.
Yeah, we'll see. We'll see about that.
Yeah. Definitely want to get on some calls with you and get your insight on a couple of things.
I love it, man. You need people to grow. So,
and you were talking about those four quadrants to any business.
Yeah.
And I was like, it's so simple.
Yeah.
I didn't think of it that way.
Well, business is math. Marketing is math. I think that's the biggest misconception is people don't realize, there's so much aspiration in marketing. There's so much fluff, smoke, mirror. And everybody's like, yeah, I don't know. What do you do? How much do you spend? Where do you put it? How much time, how much resource, who do you hire? Do you outsource? There's all these like questions, but there really is an equation, even with marketing. And so I always feel like my number one job, not just in business, but in marketing too, my number one job is to give clarity, to simplify and give clarity so that there's absolute certainty where you're going, how much you're spending, and what's the expected result. And if you have that planned before you go, there's no confusion.
Right.
It's not working. It's working. It's working better than expected.
Right.
That's it. Those are your outcomes.
Yeah. And you have a much more seasoned approach than somebody like me. I tell people like, hey, I feel like, what does it feel like doing this? I'm like, oh, I feel like a rat in a maze. You know, I run into a wall. I just go in the opposite direction.
Yeah,
like,
exactly.
It's all just being figured out along the way.
It's a lot of grit
because we don't have the know-how.
Yeah, of course.
We don't have the know-how of running an organization that's doing multiple. I mean, we're doing multiple millions, but we don't have that expertise yet.
Sure. Well, what you do have, which is what you have to have, is self-awareness. And you have the awareness that you don't know what you don't know.
Right.
And so that's the key. Literally, that's the key. If you didn't have that, doesn't matter. I wouldn't help you.
Right.
If you don't have the self-awareness that I know what I know and it's worked, but I don't know all the other things that I need to get to the next level,
right,
there's no point. I won't waste my time with somebody that doesn't understand that.
Right.
So you have that. So that's, I mean, anybody that's listening to this or watching this right now, you should get connected because you're definitely going to build something very big. It's just a matter of when. Right. How fast can you do it?
How fast can we do it?
Yeah.
And, I was so... And that whole contract thing was almost a blessing in disguise because what happened was it was almost like God was watching over me, but my Facebook ad account got shut down, so we couldn't keep selling.
Dude, I've been in those scenarios before.
If we would have kept selling, we would have had to refund even more money, more money, right?
Would have ballooned, yeah.
So I was just like, hey, let's stay right here.
Yeah.
Let's scale back down. I think we scaled back down to like 350 and it's just like, let's just stay right here.
Yep.
Let's get our systems and processes
really,
really ironed out.
Yeah.
And, like I said, yesterday was the launch of our new call center software with, I think a unique advantage, not being marked as spam.
Yeah.
Like most of these other, if you're a marketing company, any marketing company that says they have appointment setters, really what they mean is they have appointment setters in like the Philippines
usually
or Guatemala, wherever. And there's nothing wrong with that. The only problem is the person on the other end of the phone, when they hear an accent,
they immediately.
And my dad has like the heaviest accent in the world.
Yeah.
When you hear an accent, you immediately think, oh, scam. Or I'm not going to show up
spam call.
Yeah, spam call. I'm not going to show up to the appointment.
Yeah.
So that's why, I really wanted to position ourselves with all American callers, and we pay them a little more. Yeah. But the quality is also way better.
Sure. That's quality over quantity.
Right.
That's fantastic.
Right.
Yeah. Good for you, man.
Yeah.
Very cool.
We're still figuring it out. I think we can make a couple of tweaks to our offer. We're still turning the nozzles a little bit and seeing, what the peak efficiency is. I don't want to lower the guarantee down so much to where now the LO isn't getting enough at bats.
Right.
Right.
Well, the key is this: when, and you guys are doing it, when you are running a business, you want to partner with people to avoid the mistakes that you're making.
Right.
Right. That's how you speed it up.
Yep.
And so you went through your own pain, you figured it out. Had you connected with the right person, you could have avoided it in the first place.
Yep.
But I also don't think there's anything wrong with that. You got to have a little bit of blood, if you're going to.
Oh, yeah. I got the scars to prove
it. Yeah,
you
got to have the scars if you want to gain anything. So I think it's good to go through some of your own challenges like that. But I think the key is who can you make connections with so that you don't make those same mistakes.
100%.
Or you don't make new mistakes that you didn't know existed.
And that's where we're at. The other place where we're at is and where you're at, right? You just left Cardone Ventures to kind of do your own thing. Congratulations on that.
Thank you, man. Thank you.
By the way, you have a beautiful family.
I appreciate that.
They're all your kids.
They're nuts,
kids
man.
Are so cute.
Yeah, if you're on Instagram, follow me at @AboutBuck.
Yep.
And you will see the crazy kids, the travel, all the nutty stuff.
Well, I think what's really, really cool is you're stopping what you're doing and you're joining your wife.
Well,
which is like more of a power couple thing, which is pretty badass.
That is
it's
what
something
we're
I
going
wish
for.
I could do with my fiance.
You do and you don't. I got to tell you, man, it's hard. People said it's going to be hard. We announced to the world we're big manifestors. So we announced we were going to do this together. And people were like, dude, be careful. Husband, wife, you either become millionaires or divorced.
The key is you got to keep it in the arena, right?
Well, the key, here's what I've learned.
Keep it in the office.
Here's what I've learned. You got to have lanes. You have to have lanes and responsibilities.
Right.
So I owe the credit to my wife because she created success on her own. She started her own residential real estate company. She scaled it from nothing to 40 million, 30 agents across 10 states.
That's literally insane.
And very much in one of those places you were at, which was, we grew so fast, we didn't really know what we're doing. And she kept coming to me like, you got to help me. You got to put this in place. I don't know how to do like automated text after they click the thing in the email she's like, I don't know any of that. Like, help me scale this thing. And so the opportunity was so big, I couldn't ignore it. You know, and I learned so much from my past working at Starbucks, Google, Nike, then working for Cardone and the rest of those teams that I was like, I got to leverage all my experience to then build something really big with her. Yeah. And so, you know,
that's so cool.
Ultimately, we look at wealth as freedom. Like the freedom to choose, the freedom to go where you want and do what you want with who you want. And so that was the decision that was like, hey, you know, that vehicle, the Cardone vehicle is big and there's a lot of opportunity there. But when you build something that you own from scratch, there's a lot of opportunity in that as well. So I was like, hey, I'm going to go all in on this with my wife. So we own a real estate company called Wise Property Group, and we work with agents across the country. We got buyers, sellers, investors, and we're constantly on the go. Our goal this year, we're planting seeds. We're calling these bamboo seeds because we know if we put in the value, we put in the work this year, next year, that's when things start to grow.
Right.
And so this year, we're not like heavily focused on, you know, a very specific KPI.
You're focused on inward growth as opposed to outward
That's
growth.
right. And we're focused on meeting 1,000 new agents. That's our goal.
Wow. This year. From what number?
Well, we started at 0. We want to meet 1,000. Right now, we're at about 400.
Okay, got it.
So we're ahead of the curve for the year.
Yeah.
But we want to meet 1,000 new agents that we didn't know. Some people would tell me the number is not 10x enough, that I need to think bigger. but you know, we've got just over 34, 35 agents now on the team. Right. We want to get to 300 this year on Wise Property Group. So if anybody's in the real estate game and you're a real estate agent, you can just DM me at About Buck, and that's where I develop most of my relationships.
I might have a couple guys to send your way.
Do it, man. I mean, we're just looking. So here's what we're looking for. You know, why would you join Wise Property Group? Because we're building something much like you are, very big in the real estate game. And we have a very specific model that we follow to create success, the same one that my wife was using from scratch.
Right.
And we want to show other agents how to do that. What we don't want to do is force inspiration on someone with no motivation. So that is not a fit for us. We're not looking for any agents. We're looking for real estate agents that are like, I don't want to be average. I want to go all in. I want to take massive action in my market and destroy the competitor. If that's your mindset, come talk to me.
Being coachable is really, really important, right? Some people are stuck on the legacy stuff.
No, that's it.
It's common with loan officers, especially that we work at.
Yeah, they're comfortable.
Oh, lead generation, man. Don't do that. It's like, what?
No, I got a lot of relationships.
The guy's like 70 years old. It's like, he probably doesn't even know how to operate a computer. What are you talking about? Talking about something that you don't know.
What's amazing to me is how conditioned the average American is to make six figures and think they made it.
110%.
And that's what we run into is, you know, you get a lot of agents that are like, you know, they got their 401k set up. They got their, you know, they're making $200K a year, and they're like, nah, I'm good. I own the market. I got relationships. Everybody knows me. I don't need to learn how to promote or create content or do ads or, you know, or automate. I don't use a CRM. I just use my phone. You know, it's like, okay, well, then that's as big as you're going to be.
100%. That's your ceiling.
Yep.
Yeah. That's the case. Not only in real estate, just across the board. It's like, oh, I'm making sick. I had somebody the other day who was like, I make 150K a year. Why would I do that? I literally looked at him like,
it's crazy. They were, you know why? They were conditioned. They were raised by parents, nothing against their parents, but their parents' told them that 50K a year was good. 100K a year was great. Oh yeah. 150K is like, you made it.
Right.
We're just conditioned to think that way.
Right.
You know, and what the truth is, even $1 million doesn't buy you freedom.
It doesn't. And that's honestly why I stopped. Well, I wanted to start my own business, right? Yeah. It was, you know, I got fired from my job, and I was really upset. And my fiance goes, Alex, if you really, truly, you talk about helping your family and retiring your parents.
Yeah.
You really think you're going to do that with a 9-to-5 job?
You can't do it.
Hell no.
Can't do it.
Hell no. You're not going to be able to do it. You have to go start your own thing. And I was like, you know what? I'm going to go fucking start my own thing.
Good for you, man.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, I'm in the thick with you, man. Let's do it.
Let's do it.
Let's make it happen.
Buck, I really, really appreciate you coming in here, man. You're
Absolutely.
one of the, you're my, and it was so, I was telling my fiance too, the other, like, well, I spent a little time with him, but watching his interviews as well, like you're my type of guy.
I appreciate that.
You're my type of guy. Seriously.
You got a little bit of a man crush right now.
Yeah, a little bit of a man crush on Buck, but
I'll take it. I'll take it, man. I'll take attention anywhere I can get. Remember, I'm a middle child. You know, you're middle child.
Same.
Yeah, dude.
See, cut from the same cloth.
That's why we like these microphones.
Yep.
We got to be heard.
Absolutely. Yeah. Love the attention. But dude, thank you so much for coming on the show.
You're welcome, Alex.
And I'll probably have you on for our second season too. Hopefully,
Let's go. You tell me
if you're
when.
up for it, and we'll dive more into the data. We'll dive more into the foundational, the 4 quadrants. I mean, I really want to dive into that stuff for our viewers as well.
You got it, man.
Appreciate you, Buck. Thank you so
brother.
much for coming on, man.
Anytime.
All right, man.
Thanks, dude.
Appreciate it.